Te Aro is basically an example of what can be achieved on multiple owned Māori land in an urban context. So I think when you look back at this piece of land in the history of the Te Aro Pā Trust, it is a history of loss.
And remembering Te Aro Pā and the really wide area of land that we owned, and thinking about where we ended up in Pole Hill Gully. My brother was a trustee on that land block for quite a while, and thinking, I can't believe that's what happened to us. I think it's, in this modern world, people just kind of lose sight of history often.
Well, Te Aro Pā obviously was where they settled, Ngāti Runui and Ngāti Haumea, basically around Pigeon Park that went up Kent Terrace, Cambridge Terrace, but right up there, the gardens. They were then shifted and otherwise forcibly pushed up into Pole Hill Gully. You imagine living up there in Pole Hill Gully in that old tip gully there, on a southerly. Imagine our tupuna sitting up there around fires trying to keep warm. I've always had that sort of sitting within my heart that one day, if the opportunity did arise, we should develop something in their honour, in their memory. This Te Aro Pā initiative was around the land swap, where we swapped that piece of Pole Hill Gullies with the Crown for the land underneath the woolshed.
Through working with Te Tumu Paeroa, we were fortunate to have quite a bit of support in seeing what was possible with our whenua. And Papakainga was a real meaningful way for us to build something.
The owners recognised that probably the highest and best use of this land would be to develop it and provide affordable housing for owners and more broadly for Taranaki whānui.
The challenge was getting the numbers right, actually. So, you know, making sure that you've got the funding required to do the build.
So recognising the contribution that the Māori Housing Network could make in terms of feasibility and some of the capital costs associated with the project, right through to identifying the builder, project manager, the architect, Roger Walker.
Well, I was talking about the marae as a village. So what we tried to do is we tried to reflect those Maori values, that this is a village. And that people have their private spaces, but they have common areas like the common veggie garden. And the units are spaced apart, there's places for the kids to play. So there were those principles which come out of the honest construction of marae, and the way the buildings are put together and the way they work as a social entity.
So we've managed to design something that's meeting the market demand. So a mix of the single bedroom units focused on the elderly kaumātua paake, and the larger units sort of having a focus on being able to house families.
Everybody was amazed about how quickly the buildings went up. All these panels were precast and Levin, they were brought here by truck. Every day there was 3 or 4 new houses closed in.
It's been 5 months of construction and 2 years of planning. I've been the development manager, so undertook the initial feasibility study, worked through the funding and development structuring, contract procurement, and then delivery.
We've been very fortunate. We've had some great weather, so Wellington's turned it on for us, so we haven't really lost any time due to weather.
We've been able to get a nice place back, you know, and a nice place for us to occupy in a meaningful way again. So it's a real proud time for us, I think.
It was just when timeline to planning dates met, budgets met, and, you know, open day.
The opening basically sort of demonstrated to everyone in attendance that you can do this.
To all our tupuna at Te Aro Pā, the originals, this is for you. I can feel the weight of our ancestors and those that were attached to Te Aro Pā.
Whoever's living in here, just that sense of connection and the visibility of the site, I feel really proud.
This is an amazing and a special day for Ruanui, Taranaki and Taranaki whānui.
It's for the betterment of our people on our own land, in their own space. You can't get it any better.
There'll be young families here, there'll be, kaumātua kuia, hopefully, that we can get into these single bedroom units. And over time, I hope that we get a sense that if you move in here, there's a commitment to looking out for your neighbours, you know.
It was actually my youngest son who motivated me to apply. So he's the most excited in our entire family, but they're both happy to be be putting some closure in our moving.
One of the things that I'm very satisfied about is we're actually changing the perception of what affordable housing is. You know, that we can instill a sense of pride in the families that live here, that they're going to care for this place, that they're going to treat it with the respect it deserves, and that, you know, the trust is going to play a part in the lives of these families.
So I have a cousin that's moved in here, and he said to his sister, you know, it's really nice to think that I can have something that's new and fresh and that it's okay for me to live like that.
With good leadership, with passion and enthusiasm, you can actually create a legacy, and this is truly a legacy for the descendants of Te Aropa.
If there's more affordable housing projects, especially for our people, then that would be really exciting to think that this was the anchor piece for that going forward.
A real remembrance of our heritage and looking forward to those new opportunities that the future will bring. An opportunity to connect with our whenua in ways that we haven't been able to do in the past.
We've come out of the darkness, out of our whero into here, we're in the light.
Yes.
That's the way I see it in a symbolic, metaphorical sense.
Toro tika ki arangi e, au e,